Okay, whoop. This is going to be a bit sketchy. Probably shouldn't be doing this. Probably isn't legal. Pre-workout. the pre-workout that was called Not for Pussies. Taste review. Extremely sour and bitter. Oh, if you imagine, not a fan of that. If you imagine a fruit salad which is made up of 90% grapefruit, that's what it tastes like. Fruit salad. No, or like a tropical fruit flavour, which majority of it is grapefruit. Extremely bitter and sour. Ugh, I don't like it. Good day, ladies and gentlemen. You join me on this leg workout, which we started off with some lying leg curls, hamstring focused. Of course they were hamstring focused. It was a leg curl. I'm going to keep going. I'm not going to start over again. I've started this voiceover 4 times. So went from a lying leg curl into a rack pull here. The reason doing a lying leg curl first is to get the hamstring nice and short and fully contracted when it's in a strong position, because obviously if I was to do rack pulls and then lying leg curls, the ability to get my hamstring short would be pretty difficult. So next we went into a V squat. Pretty much maxed out this exercise with 20 kilo plates, so going to have to look at getting the 25 kilo plates on this instead of 20s. And then after this first set, we went into using a band. So you'll see in the second when I add the band on, that the band kind of makes it more difficult as you go up. Which also matches the resistance curve, or the strength curve of your quads. So easier at the top, harder at the bottom, which is why when you add the resistance band, it's easier at the bottom because there's less slack on the resistance band, and then when you get to the top, it becomes more and more taut as your quads go all the way up. God, that was I look back on some of this footage and I'm like, was that close to my last rep? No, because I went for a couple more after that rep. And sometimes you get to a position in your set where you're like, okay, one more rep. Okay, one more rep. Okay, one more rep. And that's really like what you've kind of got to do in a way to continue progressing. So I knew which numbers I wanted to press for this week, and if I can beat those numbers and then beat it a little bit more, I'm going to go for it, because at this stage when I've got so much food coming in, recovery's in a good place, I can take those risks. But when I go into prep, this is me adding the resistance band, when I go into prep on March 16th, probably not going to be able to push, well, in the later stages. In the early stages, probably still recovery is going to be good, etc. But as prep gets deeper and deeper, body fat gets lower and lower, recovery is going to be slightly more and more affected. So in order to kind of mitigate things like that and stay on top of recovery, there's a couple of things that you can do. There's also a couple of things that you want to avoid, and one of those things I'm going to talk about later on in this video, which is exertion headaches and how to deal with them, because like I say later on in the video, not many people talk about exertion headaches, and for me anyway, I've had them a handful of times. Obviously been training like 10 years, but well, more than 10 years now, but when I first started training, I didn't really experience it because I didn't really go that close to failure. But the more and more you go close to failure, and the more pressure you're kind of pushing through your body, the more risk of exertion headaches if you're not quite bracing yourself in the right way, or if you tense yourself up. I tend to find I get them on a leg press because I like hold on to the seat and then like pull myself into the seat whilst I'm doing the reps. So I think my traps get quite tight and then my neck gets quite tight, and then that coupled with the pressure means that it ends up with like an exertion headache, because the muscles on the back of your neck going into your head, I don't know if they get cramped up or they just get whatever happens to him, and then you get an exertion headache, which is just not very comfortable at all. So this is my buddy Jack Jones. I trained with him on this session. He comes from a little bit more of like a powerlifting background, but I think he still does quite a lot of bodybuilding workouts and that style of workouts too. He's also a personal trainer in the Swansea area, so if you're interested, he's Jack Jones _1 on Instagram. So look him up if you're looking to get in shape. Lovely guy, very easy to talk to, knowledgeable as well. This was a pretty tough exercise if you've not done it, like programmed in before, and he's usually like a barbell, he sticks to kind of barbell hack squat, that kind of exercise. So you don't really, when you start a new exercise, especially like in a new training block, you're not really expecting to then progress loads straight away. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I have no idea where in this video this is going to be, so welcome to the video. I hope you're enjoying the video so far. I don't know. What do I say at this point? The reason for that is I'm still editing the flotation tank video, but the show goes on and I've got to continue recording content. Otherwise, I'll have no more videos. So here we are. Today I'm going to be doing a pull workout, and then tomorrow I'm resting. I feel like I need this rest day as well. It's an earned rest day. You know, one of those rest days where you feel a little bit achy, a little bit, you know, niggles here and there, a little bit, you know, not enough for a deload, but, you know, enough for needing a rest day. And when was it? Monday? No, Sunday. I was training. I got a slight exertion headache. Now this has happened a couple of different times, and this happened whilst I was on a leg press. I want to talk you through what to do when you have an exertion headache, because they're not very comfortable. I haven't heard many things online about them, and it's quite a common, I think semi-common thing that happens to a lot of people that are lifting, especially if you're lifting heavy weights. So I think this is how an exertion headache works. Don't quote me on this if it's not how it works. Let's move my steering wheel down a bit. Nope, that's as low as it goes. Okay, never mind. Okay, cool. Okay, so I think an exertion headache is from when your body is straining so hard, you start tightening muscles in the back of your head, and you also have too much pressure going through to your head. I think it's some form of pressure and tension related problem, and quite often you feel it right in the back of your head here, kind of going up your neck into the back of your head right there, and then it generally feels a lot worse if you like bend down, if you like doing anything that puts pressure on your head. If you hold your breath and like push, you'll feel that pressure hurting your head. So what to do if you have this? For myself, if you're somebody like me, I do not recommend that you do this, but if you're gonna finish the rest of your session, which again I don't recommend that you do, but if you are going to, reduce down your weights that you're using, reduce down your intensity, because you're only going to make it worse. I think when you first get that initial little exertion headache, the rest of your workout or the rest of what you do throughout that day determines how bad it's going to be. For example, I've had exertion headaches before where I've literally just tried to ignore it, and I've continued doing my workout, and literally it's just been horrible. I haven't been able to move properly without my head just banging. So reduce down your training intensity if you're going to finish your workout. Second, rest up. If I wasn't in my third week of training, of this training block, I probably would have taken a deload if it was worse. It's not a bad one, so it's gone completely, which has helped quite a lot. So not helped quite a lot, but you know what I mean. Next is relax. Try to have a hot bath, relax your muscles. Again, if it is a muscle thing where it's tight muscles up here, where it's just causing a lot of pain and tension, relaxing those muscles is going to be quite important. So maybe have an Epsom salt bath, maybe put some hot beads on it, do a bit of manual massage in there, get somebody else to massage you, get a sports massage, get something done up here, you know. So that would be the 3 main points: is reduce down your training intensity, rest up, and get a bit of relaxation massage kind of on that area. Now, there's certain things that you can do to try and avoid getting in exertion headaches, but a lot of people don't really know where it stems from. I think it's from that internal pressure that you cause in your head, which can cause the issues, but it's not like a common thing that people talk about. So I wanted to make this video just to kind of talk about it a bit. Another thing that helped me massively was CBD. So I had this prolonged headache after I trained. Had a little bit of CBD, had a bit of Support Max Neuro, which is a anti-cortisol supplement. Basically just helps you to relax a little bit. It's got a bit of ashwagandha in there. It's got supplements in there to help you, you know. So that would also help to kind of relieve any tension up here and any stress and stuff as well. So I'd recommend trying some supplement like that as well. If it is an ongoing thing, you've got it for weeks and weeks, get it checked out, because I've had it before where I had like a bulge in a small blood vessel in the back of my head, which was obviously causing some form of pressure at the back of my head. So I had like what's it called? I had liquid taken off my spine. I had checks, I had MRIs, I had loads of stuff, because they were worried that I was bleeding on the brain, which of course we don't want to do that, because that's the end of a story. If you start bleeding on the brain, that's it, finito. There's not a lot they can do. They can drain your brain. I don't know. Can they drain your brain? I don't know. I'm curious as to what happens. What happens when you bleed on the brain? The skull surrounding the brain. Yeah, but pulling blood. Do you die from it? Oh, there you go. What are the chances? Was about 30 to 60% of people die from it. Yeah, we don't want that. There's a lot of liquid on your brain that keeps your brain in place, so I don't even think they can drain your brain. But anyway, we don't want bleeding on the brain. So there you go. That's exertion headaches. That's from my personal experience. If you want any other conversation about exertion headaches, have a little chat in the comment section below. Now I've got to go into this house here, which is where one of my clients trains, in this little cottage. I say she trains, I'm teaching her to walk, so in a way she's trained. But yeah, I got a few minutes, so I finish this little section of this video, we'll go and teach Anne to walk. Okay, so after I had my clients, I then went and trained some back, and then after the pull workout, back, traps and biceps, I then did some posing. I thought it'd be quite funny to put some of the like bloopers in, because you never really see this when you see like people doing their bodybuilding poses, like, and I unless it's just me that can't get this bloody hamstring pose properly, it just, every time I do it, it just doesn't quite look right. And what you're supposed to do is bend your knee, and then that back knee is supposed to push into your hamstring. I can do it a little bit there, you can see it a little bit. It's supposed to push into your hamstring and then make your hamstring look bigger. But it gets me frustrated. I'm practicing, I'm trying different areas of doing it, I'm trying different feet positions, I'm trying different balance, like to put my central gravity in different areas. I just can't quite get it. I thought it was quite funny because I'm falling all over the place here, and if I do that on stage, it just won't be good. So I need to nail down this pose, otherwise I'm gonna look an idiot on stage, which might make for some funny content, but it won't make me happy because I'll be pissed off. Anyway, enjoy the rest of this very stumbly looking posing video. And looking at this, I've noticed from my knee down to my foot, my shin bone, is quite a lot shorter than my what's it called? Femur. Yeah, quite a lot shorter. Oh yeah, and this other guy. Look in the background, right? This guy comes in on his phone, and I'm doing this posing in my underwear, and then he like turns around, notices that somebody's in here. He's on his phone, like scratching his head, looking a little bit awkward. It's just a bit of an awkward time doing a bit of posing in this room, but it's usually a pretty quiet room in the middle of the day. They don't have any classes on a Tuesday and a Wednesday, so I tend to do a little bit of posing then and try to master a little bit more of these poses. But these things take time, they take practice, and it's not like men's physique where I can just practice a little bit of the movement and then do it on the day, which I've basically done every other competition, but don't tell people that. But posing routine for like bodybuilding and posing actual poses, they do need some work, which is good because I'm practicing now and I've got ages, like I've got over 20 something weeks, which is great, but also a little bit frustrating. But I'll get there, I promise I'll get there. And I think I'm happy with my choice of song. I think I am going to go for Gift of a Thistle, the song from Braveheart, just because it fits quite well. I don't know why, but it's quite a slow song, but I quite like it, and it's quite, I don't know, it's quite like an emotional song, which is quite nice. I'm not one of those people that wants to like pose and do like all the aggressive posing. I like to kind of do it a little bit more like ballet, a little bit more feminine touch, not feminine touch, you know what I mean, a little bit more gentle, a little bit more flowy. I don't think my physique would suit like more of an aggressive song, so yeah. Anyway, enjoy the rest of this few seconds, and I'll speak to you later.